Jean-Claude Juncker. This is a confirmation of these ships and that this message is coming from the ships. Now, here's footage of this. Let's zoom in on this one. There. Just you can have reference. What it looks like. And here's their ship. This is Galactic Federation. Cylinder UFO Mothership. There's another one over here. Now, alright. Now let's focus on this one. Alright. There you are. This is Galactic Federation. This is a battleship. It is about 1 mile long. There are voices coming from the ship. I have gone out and taken footage of this ship for you. It released a scatter to the right. That's a flying saucer. Now, I have shown you this picture, this battleship before, and it is stationed above my house protecting me. Now let's see the one next. Here, there's another one. Now, just for reference, these are very big ships. They're 1 mile long and they're in our space. This is how big they look. See? This is a neighbor's house, for instance. Now, release flying saucers. You may see them as sparks coming out from the ship. To the left, things shot out of the ship. Now let's take more photographs for you. Here's a bit of reference how Galactic Federation and Universal Government are stationed here. So the camera needs to zoom in to show this. It depends on the aperture of the camera. Here's another one. You see, they are aligned in the shape of constellations. Here's a cylinder mothership, Galactic Federation, Universal Government, battleship. These fleets secure different sectors of the galaxy. These came here to secure the planet from the reptilians and were defeated. There was one there, however, it is nighttime and there's not enough light and coming from the distance. Test, for instance, here, this is the Little Dipper constellation, the Big Dipper. Here's another one. Here. Fire or release your ships as a signal. Activity around the ship, purple plasma in the shape of a circle. That's a force field, alright. Things were released to the left. There, and to the right. This is Universal Government, it's about the universe. That is with the Galactic Federation. Here's another mothership. Once again, they have hundreds of flying saucers and orbs, as you can see it lit up. For reference, imagine a long cylindrical mothership filled with lights from one end to the other. Here's another one, see? All these motherships are stationed above my house. The reason is that I was incarnated from the center of the One, which the extraterrestrials call God. I'm the collective consciousness for Earth, and these same extraterrestrials will attest that I am Jesus Christ, and this is the second coming. This is the militia of heaven, and what has been guiding you, and the affairs of Earth. As you can see, they are directly above, stationed to protect, and so. See, this is my house, as you can see here, right there, because what's there? The Universal Government, and below is the house of the Savior. What I'm telling you is truth. I have this much protection. This is my army. I'm telling you what is going on because I do not agree with their measures on your life. I believe it's too dark. I do not believe you nor the earth deserves this faith of the consequences of non-interventionist policy. where we are held against our will. In fact, I must tell you, here's another mothership. This is in the southern sky, over the border of Mexico, so that you have reference. This is a city called Calexico, and the border town, about 44,000. They keep the residents from going to the news. Oh God! And you gotta know, these people are confess to a power structure far above the Illuminati when they came to protect from the reptilians and the Draco. Here's the companion battleship of this one. Dude. They released the flying saucers at command. It was telepathy. Junker, I have, with this power, I tell you, it is a giant army. I have to submit to she. See? This guy, an entire sky is cloaked with motherships. These are the same as the Anunnaki and the gods. What was their creation? Jesus Christ, the Messiah. And the incarnation of a soul from the very center of the being which they call God, which is the one. And a representation of this. And the mothership has brightened up his light. Here's reference. How large this is. You have been seen by Jean-Claude Juncker before in a photograph during which you released a large, nearly a mile long shot and flying discs. Now, would you like to do this again? I will tell you what is going on. I will keep this zoomed in on this mothership, as this is the one most visible to the other ones, due to the intensity of its lights and the distance. You may observe flying disc fleets and orb UFOs coming off. These have defeated the reptilians. This is the army of heaven that is spoken in the book of Revelation, that appears with the Messiah and captures the multi-headed beast. You must know what political structure that is. Due to non-interventionist policy, they are very forceful. They cannot be too direct. So if they were to appear, they would not do it to benefit humankind. They would do it to declare war. And that is which is not benefiting the civilization positively. And that is what universal government and its universal law has told them. This is why they are acting like this. There's another one. It is shooting a black beam to the left to its mothership. Yeah, this is a military drill and exercise in the meantime. Flying discs have been sent out, and these have very powerful engines. The engine of these ships is called a black star, which is a star in between being a black hole and its former self. So most of neutrons smashing themselves into one another at the very center, releasing extremely powerful electromagnetic fields, which have photons at the speed of light, traveling in arcs trapped at an extremely high frequency. You just saw a black beam of energy be shot from this ship to the right. You can pause the video and go back. This can be released in the form of a massive energy beam on the power of solar masses squared, far above the 10th power, in the form of a beam. And these are the beams that, if they hit a city, it will be completely annihilated. Now this ship just released a beam to the lower left, which was visible. Here is a zoom out so that any shots or energy fields are visible. You may see purple plasma, purple energy shooting from the ships. And those are the force fields. They are captured in its plasma, captured in the electromagnetic field. because plasma is magnetically attracted to the positive photons of the electromagnetic field, and it contains electrons which are negatively charged. They can draw force fields by controlling the lines of the field that will attract their high-powered plasma into any shape that they desire. For instance, you are now seeing arcs of purple plasma from the ship that is centered around it. There's a force field that cannot be penetrated by the Draco reptilian empire, and as they have already won, they are using it for leisure as we speak. For instance, they can draw things in the sky while we speak. This is the military of the universal government. The symbol of a serpent with wings, as its Galactic Federation fleets all participating into below the structure of universal government. There's another ship up here. No, here you can see it. Telepathy came from the ship and attention. Therefore, I'm returning it. Alright. Here's what they confessed to. Deep after the transformation that humanity underwent by having a being created, which every thought, action, and emotion of this being, which is me, transfers into 7.4 billion minds, while I was protected by this very large army. Now I'm receiving a message in telepathy. They wish to abide by non-interventionist rules and remain silent for now. So I will continue to tell you that is what was given to me in relation to a possible message to you directly. I must speak for them as I have incarnated within humanity, as speaking on behalf of human will and its own conclusions and self-awareness, as they cannot intervene directly. Therefore, as humanity, speaking to humanity about itself, luckily, once again, universal government, universal laws watching them, which prevents them from breaking these such policies. Otherwise, they will penalize the Galactic Federation, universal government, and universal law representatives. And this will affect thousands of worlds with sanctions, simply for these actions and these words during these moments. So, that is why they will be reserved during the message. This is what they confess to that has not been told to you, to non-interventionism. Even though you may have talked to leaders in many worlds, they are part of this federation and they kept this information secret. I would like you to see this. A destroyer is passing by. This is a patrol ship. See here? This blinking light. Here's a mothership. And over here, there's a blinking light. These are twin cylinders. It just passed by another mothership, by the way. Sometimes they pass by, and here it is. It's centered. A big energy beam will come out of one ship and go on to this one. This type, which is a patrol cylinder. It's a destroyer. And recharge it. Here we go. It is. It's patrolling right above the sky above my house. I am considered the leader for the minds of Earth, as a collective consciousness of Earth. Even as we speak, all my thoughts and actions are traveling to others as thought energy to all 7.4 billion minds. I'm the collective consciousness of Earth. I have to tell you what information I have. After 1 year and 9 months of this fleet being here, the universal government, there's a reference to where it is now. Here. It's two-cylinder UFO motherships, which creates the fact that there's hundreds worth flying this army passing by with twice the power of the beam shot that I told you. Now, it is now passing over the tree. It has gone over to the horizon. Here. Right here in the center. I'll show you full-size pictures of these ships that protect me and that defeated the direct reptilian empire. And I must tell you what I was told. After the reptilian empire invaded Earth and broke universal law, which is the law of heaven that they broke and rebelled against, the surrounding worlds, such as Venus, which had colonized Earth. And you want to know the big secret? It was Venus which colonized Earth. For this reason, they attacked their own species on Earth with liberalism to remain impartial, which is the Caucasian species. They look identical. Venus looks identical to Americans, and that is regarded as the capital planet for the solar system. This capital planet is in turn the governor for this star and its worlds, and this is what represents on the Federation and the government of the galaxy, which is in turn below a Supreme Allied Council. And the coincidence of these words, something similar, is not a coincidence. They have been controlling people's lives from the fourth dimension secretly, and I will tell you how, and suggesting words in their own terminology throughout our history. The Supreme Allied Council forms universal government and government for the universe. I love this council, and by the way, this council is extremely high, that which is above Galactic Federation. It's present here. It dwells over many universes. The reason is because there are thousands of bubble universes around the being called the One, which is God, the light that people see when they die. This is at the center of the universe, and the point which resulted after the Big Bang, which is the gravity of the multidimensional star and being we were all a part of, called the One, pulling all souls and energy back into itself. And so what we see when we go to the light and death and return to it is what is atop this government, which is, and the form that we see is a spiral formed by gravity. All the returning energy incarnated in humans and beings throughout the stars are placed as sparks and stars around the spiral that is, at whose center is the source of the universe, and a central point that connects to all hearts into your own heart. And at the center is the One, a quasar, which those sparks that learn and obtain its frequency return to and become one with, called the One and God. The mind of God is the light at the center of the universe and what is seen in death. The light is breathing in souls. That is the term used. And the Mothership requests attention. Alright. Well, so you're witnessing the legendary militia of heaven and the kingdom of heaven. Now, many people have believed in this and waited for it for 2,000 years. Now here we are speaking to you, and I am on your side. I am humanity. I have been telling you various things of what has been done, and I am also required by universal law, and they are also required to expose themselves. Now the Mothership has brightened up its lights here, and now it looks extended for that reason. And so again, these lights are powered by the magnificent engine that I spoke of, which is only available to members of the Galactic Federation and Universal Government. So for that reason, because the reptilians are sanctioned, they cannot penetrate neither the force field that is generated, nor withstand the heavy shots that I've told you of. One single battleship here can destroy a city with a shot, and still has hundreds of fleets to invade with. Now here's what happened. On top of what's going on top of the Supreme Allied Council for this universe, is an even higher council, which is at the center of the universe and at the center of many universes. This universe being a bubble of matter that expanded from the beginning and is held back together, held back while expanding by the One and its gravity. Each bubble universe is its own frequency of matter, and there are many more universes on different frequencies of matter, like different dimensions, and they could be right here, but you cannot see them due to the different frequency, in fact. Now, the council is above all these universes. It's at the center of these spherical universes, on whose surface is the galaxy and these members of creation that you see around you. That council that is above many is composed of congresses of light beings in the spirals around the one, which is the fifth dimension of the universe, the center of the fourth dimension, with the fourth dimension being the hollow depth of the sphere of the universe. The Congress of the universe is all those beings which are formed as one being in the mind of God. It is light beings, in case you would like to know what they look like. Beings of light, which you may have seen, which have no face and no gender, and are simply bodies of light. Their color is the frequency of light energy, and this energy of the universe is on the same frequency of love. Yes, this is true. And that is why those who love the most, and by forgiving the most, obtain the highest frequency and are pulled to the very center of the one and become beings of white light. These have the abilities of God to revive others, such as myself, and whose identity is Jesus Christ. And these are the beings that emerge from the one when people die and are faced with the light. These beings, from colors golden light beings to white light beings, transform into the beliefs of the person. And as there's trillions of souls and all the universe is coming back together and behind the light, it's always possible to receive millions of souls, and for God to always have a light being as its form that can emerge, connected with the light, and transform into the being and what beliefs the person needs to see when they die to experience heaven, or to be told to leave. The reason people are told to leave the light and are revived by the God saying, "It is not your time yet, you must go." In your heart there is a spark, which is where the soul incarnates, and these sparks collect light. They are in all things, in all living beings. The animals also have light and sparks, and so do plants and the atoms. These sparks, when they oscillate, here comes a destroyer on patrol. As you're here, passing by. Now it's brightening up lightly after I saw it with my eyes. There's telepathic connection here. I released something, which was a shot, your preference. The sparks are in all nature. When they occur on the frequency of love, they draw light and energy like an antenna. This is the energy that was released by the bang and that maintains God alive. When they die, by oscillating on the same frequency and having received light, continuing their bodies and becoming light beings, they are drawn back into God. Now, what does it do for God? God requires energy to exist. The sparks collect the same energy that the structure of God requires. You must find and study what is called the human near-death experience to know more about your soul and its purpose in life, and the structure of the universe that the extraterrestrials know, and their knowledge will come to you. You will live it out if you see the human near-death experience.